Hey, songbirds, how you doing? Hope you're doing okay. I'm doing alright. It's been quite a while. My equipment got stolen, so I had to like double back a little bit, and I finally replaced. Yeah. Let's like jump into today's video. The song at hand is Lucas Graham, Lie. Some of you might have heard of the song. If you haven't heard of the song, then I really wonder what you're doing here. Check out the song before you check out the video, and like I have the video, the song I'll be going through today is my remix of Lucas Graham's Lie. I think I came up with like, something good, but I won't be going through every instrument that I had in the track. I'll just go through a few instruments that I think I did something that not everybody does. I just want to give you the thought process behind those certain instruments. Mainly, why I won't be going through everything is because you're getting the FLP. So if you most of that other stuff would be easy for you to understand. Yeah, I'll just go through a few certain key elements in the song, a few certain key thought processes that I had to go through. Yeah, before I get into it, like directly into it, I would like to give a shout out to Sky Music, which is the site where I actually took part in the remix for this song. So the very the very first instrument that you hear in the song is something that I actually want to talk about. Um, it's this weird sound in the background. This. I don't know how audibly you can hear it, but yeah, it's there. This sound is originally this, and I just took it down 300 cents. Uh, I time stretched it a little bit. Let me just do this. Yeah, I time stretched it a little bit. And yeah, I changed this to stretch. And you're probably wondering why I would have such a sound on the song. So like this is how I work, eh? I believe that usually the very first instrument of the song usually determines the rest of the song. Like if you have a really bad sound in the very first, like if you have a bad sound as the first instrument that you had to the song, most likely the rest of the song is going to turn out to be bad. Not really in terms of rhythm and melody, but let me try to say it like this: the quality of the very first sound that you put in the song is going to determine the quality of the entire song. Like usually, for me, that idea works for me. So if I don't have an idea, like let's say if I don't have a melody or I don't have any chord progression in my mind, before anything, I'll just have something like of an okay quality, the quality that I'd love to attain. I'd love the song to have through the entire song. I'd love the entire song to have. I just have it laying back, like I just put it there, So that's what I did with this, and it's not supposed to be permanent. Okay, you can take it out later if you like. You can do whatever you you like with the track after, but like it just helps me get started. And like for this one, it went through a couple of changes. On the very first start, when I made it, it was a little bit warm, but then I took out most of the bass frequencies with a sleek EQ, and I added a reverb to like really place it in the background. I took down the dry down all the way, and I sterilized it so it's like way back there in the background. Yeah, I'm going to go straight to the piano. I think the piano is pretty interesting. So the piano itself, it's a free plugin actually. Keyzone Classic. I'll leave a link in the description below. Uh, it's a free plugin. I use it a whole lot. Like usually when I'm playing a piano, it's usually what I'm using. It sounds like this. And off the bat, you notice that I have two channels playing something that probably one person will be playing on a keyboard. Let me just Control A, Control X, and Control V. Let me play them in one channel. For me, it just didn't give it the same vibe. I wanted to have like the bass notes with their own velocities, and the higher notes with their own velocities. So like I just did that. You can have them in one channel, but for me this worked, and it's just how I felt at this particular moment. Yeah, so I have these two are routed to the same mixer insert. I just have some parametric EQ, just shaping up the sound on the spectrum, on the frequency spectrum, some reverb and some stereo enhancement. What really makes this piano interesting is this. When I played in these notes, just to make it sound realer, I messed around with the velocities of each note. So I wanted it to start at a certain point, like yeah, I think it makes it sound much realer. It's computerized, and it still sounds computerized. I don't have a keyboard, so I couldn't play it, but now it sounds much realer, and that was okay enough for this song. I didn't have that much time for this song. That's why like I even added that very sound I talked about in the beginning. I just put it there so I can, as my ideas are coming through, I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not putting in some bad sounds, because sometimes you can spend way too much time on the PC and you might not notice that you're putting in bad sounds, and you spend hours and hours working on a song, then get up, get a cup of tea, come back, and it just sounds terrible. Mainly what this piano is doing in the song, it's telling the story. And that's why I have it on most. I even had to put it on the drop, and yeah, it just tells the story. It brings all the emotion to the song. Next up, my baby, my beast, my darling. Yeah, I love this plugin. I love this preset, let me say, called Beast. It's this. Okay, why I wanted to show you this this sound is because I actually cut out the bass. It's a bass, but I actually cut out the bass. Why did I do that? Because I had two basses in the song, and at some point they were playing together. No, actually I had three basses in the song, and this one was kind of playing on top of the other two at some point. The other two don't play together at any point. So basically there's the 808 on the drop, and then there's the bass in the second verse. At some point the Beast plays around with the 808 on the drop, and it also plays around with the bass in the second verse. So I just cut out those lows to make sure that they ain't clashing. Yeah, so like over here they play together. Yeah. Next up we have the lead. Sounds like this. Okay, so the thought process for this particular idea that I want to give is kind of inspired by DJ Swinville. I don't know if you know him. He's the one that mixed Closer by the Chainsmokers. I ran into the video online, and they were talking, and he spoke about this technique that you can use like for vocals. You can have like sometimes you have a vocal and it doesn't pop out in the song, and there's some backing vocals. It just sounds like it's drowning, and there ain't too many highs in there. You try to add some highs using an EQ, and it doesn't work. It just makes it sound harsh. You know, when you de-ess it, it just drowns in the vocals all over again. He said you can. Was it him or a student that asked? I'm not sure, but the advice I got was like you can try to add some presence in the backing vocals. Like sometimes it's not really the instrument, but what's around it. So I got that concept, and I just tried it on a snare. You know, you have a snare with completely zero reverb, and then I put a snare with like tons of reverb under. Gives me more control over the reverb, and also more control over the transient of. I don't know if that makes any sense, but then yeah. So in this case, what I did was like I had this lead, this sample, excuse me, this sample. Yeah, I had this sample, not playing, with not so much reverb. It's just there, like adding that. That sort of vibe, and then I have it playing together with this like really reverb sound that's giving it most of the space, and just like yeah, and it worked well, I think. Yeah. Together they create something really cool, but then when you play them one by one, they don't really sound as good. Okay, just one last trick that I want to show you is a simple roll trick that I've probably heard tons of producers. You know, I hadn't heard this song that I want to mention before I did this, but I've heard Stash do this a bunch of times. On the track Single by Yo Maps, Stash did this sort of trick where he pans toms. So I got this first tom, I panned it a little to the left, this one a little, it's just on the middle, then this one on the right side, and it's just, and it works well, you know, I think, at least again for me. And then yeah, like really that's practically the things that I wanted to go through. And you might be wondering why I didn't have any stuff that I want to talk about in the vocals, because the vocals were gotten from a remix contest, and they were wet, so they were already processed, like, so most of the compression, EQing, and most of the vocal processing was basically done by Lukas engineers. They are producers over there, and then like all I had to do was just like add some compression, EQ, just to like fit the song onto the atmosphere, to fit the vocals on the atmosphere of my track. And yeah, that's really all I had to do. And I also added some reverb to like put it in the same room, and that's it. So I didn't go through the vocals, unfortunately. Hopefully on my next track I might show you how I play around in my vocals and stuff like that. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, give it a like, hit the subscribe button, don't forget to hit the bell, for notifications when I post in the future. Tons of new stuff coming up. Leave a comment, let me know what you think. Check out the description, you can get the track for free, you can get the FLP for free, and if you find anything in the FLP you don't understand, just let me know in the comments. You know, I read all the comments. yeah, I read all the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, songbirds.